Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our ASM review show. I'm waiting on the cast to join me. I am the only one currently in the window waiting for us to start the show, but I will take questions if you would like to ask me some questions or whatever you would like until the rest of the panel gets here. Had Unfortunately, Sarah backed out at the last minute, so did Kelly. We're waiting on JR, and we're also waiting on Neil and Mike McNulty to join us. And I sent them their invites as I crack open a Mountain Dew to start the broadcast. I have it in my McFarlane Spider-Man cup, a nice dew beverage. Let's see. Let me get the images up that we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about ASM, what is it, 918 is what we're going to talk about. So there's the image up there that we will talk about. And, yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see. Hornacek, did you read your DM in the on Facebook? I invited you on the show. Would you like to come on the show? I sent you an invite. Where's my Burger King crown? You promised last week that you'd wear it on every future episode, or maybe I imagined that part. I think you imagined that part. I did not actually agree to that. And there's JR. Welcome to the show. You're the only one that showed up, albeit 3 minutes late.
You're kidding.
I had a couple back out. Mike's not here. I was just talking to Neil. So I invited Hornacek on the show. But
no, it was just one of those where your computer decides it's just going to like go into a coma for a while.
Oh, I've been there.
And just kind of grind. And
yes.
But anyway, so that was it. But I'm ready to go.
Welcome, sir. Thanks. We've got, it looks like Hornacek just saw his DM. Craig, I am sending you a invite right now. There you go. JR, you've got this opening issue.
Yes, I do. I know.
Here, let me get, where's your spider whopper? It's been digested and exited the premises, if you know what I mean.
For shits and grins, I tried one of those. It was okay. I mean,
literally and figuratively. It was just like a Whopper.
Yeah.
They're just as messy as I remember them.
Yeah. There was nothing special about it, really. I mean,
yeah.
It's not like the what do they try for Halloween with the dark buns or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
That kind of turned people's poop green.
We've got Jay from the Philippines. Welcome, Jay. You're watching from far away, man. Glad to have you here. Looks like you got a haircut, Mr. Comic says, JR.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Nice and shaved, bro.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
And we got Vinkman in the house, and we got Milo in the house. And have you been enjoying Zebwell's run at all, Brad? I enjoyed the first 12 issues. I did not like all the crossovers with the X-Men and the Eternals. And I really didn't like Dark Web. However, if you go back to some of the episodes, you will hear my thoughts on them all together. So Mike McNulty says, be there in a minute. Well, we're 5 minutes in. Let's get going, JR.
All right.
Let me double check and see if I sent Neil the link to get in here. I did. Okay, cool. All right. ASM 24 with your boy Norman Osborn on the cover. JR, take me through this, please.
All right. All right, folks. We're about to find out what did Peter do. And we're about to find out whether or not it was worth the all the 12 months of build up and hype.
Neil.
You know,
Hi.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
It wasn't worth it. Okay.
All right. So
Congratulations.
1 year ago, we're in the Baxter building. All right. And the Thing is awake and Alicia's awake and there's a noise coming from the lab. I'm not getting a snack, Alicia. I heard a noise from the lab. I'm going to check it out right after a quick snack.
Yeah.
Well, so he thinks the noise is Reed, tinkering in the lab after he and Sue came back from another planet or whatever. But then all of a sudden, as he's there with his big sub or whatever, Sue and Reed come through the door. It's like, well, wait a minute.
Hey, Craig.
Oh,
We're here, JR. We're listening. We're still
all
listening.
right. All right. All right. So anyway, he thinks the noise is reaching the lab.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Hang on.
Somebody's
Craig, you're breathing into the mic.
Sorry.
Lower that mic a little bit away from your nose. There you go.
How's that?
It's
Better?
a little hot. It's a little hot. Real hot. You lower the mic a bit.
How about now?
You're still hot, micing.
Oh.
You're still really hot.
Hang on. Check your input. Check your input.
Yeah, unplug it, plug it back in.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, JR, the thing walks in,
All right. All right.
and
so
there
the
you
thing
go.
walks in, and there Spider-Man is stealing the mini fusion reactor, or
What the crud?
it might as well be called the MacGuffin for everything else. So
There we
anyway,
go.
the rest of the FFC Spidey and go after
Okay,
him.
hold on a second, JR. Craig, one more time. Your mic is really bad. You have another mic by chance?
Craig, real quick, check the gain on your mic. See if you can go into the master volume and adjust it from there.
Yeah. All right. While he's doing that, I am going to mute Craig. Oh, he just went out. Okay, JR.
Gwen Stacy'd himself.
He snap. All right, here you go, JR. I apologize for keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
All right. But anyway, so Spider-Man is stealing the mini nuclear fusion reactor or whatever. The Fantastic Four chase him through the hallways after him, and of course, the Human Torch, due to his combination of his hot temper and basically his lack of responsibility and typical recklessness, blows a hole in the wall of the Baxter Building and allows Spider-Man to escape. So he changes to Peter Parker, and he escapes to the wretched, foul-smelling, crime-ridden sewers of New York, also known as the subway system. So he takes the subway. So he takes the subway to another wretched cesspool, New Jersey, where Norman Osborn was able to co-opt a warehouse so that they could stay out of New York City. So anyway, all right.
Good riddance.
Here we go.
What is he doing? Oh my god!
All right, here we go. All right, so
What are you doing, JR? Hold on.
So Norman,
Oh my
Norman.
god!
wait a
He's a
minute.
star. He's rehearsing for his role on a Star Trek show.
What? Wait. What?
Here we go.
Okay.
There
So
you go.
anyway, so Norman is working on the costume. All right. Norman is working on. All right.
Get it. Love it.
So basically, Peter,
Oh god!
go.
JR.
Okay, no.
Don't
Anyway,
light your
so-
house on fire, JR. All right.
So Peter brings a mini fusion reactor to Norman, who's working on a newfangled Spider-Man suit that actually kind of resembles the same one that Tony Stark built in a cave with a box of scraps. So anyway,
Jesus Christ!
is the suit done, Norman? Suit? What suit? I thought I was making another PlayStation 5 skin for the game that's coming out later in the year. Rumor has it September, but that's not confirmed. So anyway, Norman says, well, it needs some test runs, Peter. Peter says, no, we got to go for it now because he's got to get to that other dimension where MJ is. So, Norman spouts a whole lot of comic book science that I won't repeat here. And he tells Peter it's risky because neither one of them have slept in days. Of course, the thing is, it's like, wouldn't Norman have been able to get us some sleep if he had just taken the armor as it was and didn't customize it to look like a Spider-Man outfit? I mean, how long did Norman take to paint the webs on the thing? I mean,
It's like putting flames on a hot rod. It makes the car go faster.
Yeah, like Tony Stark said on the suit. Give it race car red or something like that.
So anyway, Norman, Norman puts he does the last things on the suit, all right, and then he oops.
Uh-oh, now JR's hot micing.
There we go. No, I just did pull
Right.
it off.
This is average Twitch streamer.
So anyway, so Norman hits the button just like Charlton Heston at the end of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and then Spider-Man turns into Gumby as he goes through the other
Gumby.
dimension.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
Gumby.
yeah,
Look at Gumby Spider-Man.
But first of all,
What's
Ms.
Marvel?
Marvel has been lurking all this
Right.
time watching the warehouse because she thinks some shenanigans are going on, and she's going, Norman Osborn, what do you think you're doing in my city? Hey, Ms. Marvel, first of all, you ain't Batman, all right? Not by a long shot that you can claim a city of your own. You are far too minor league to be claiming a city of your own. And besides, Norman's an American citizen who can go anywhere in the country he wants to without checking in with you little derivative knockoff whose show is the lowest rated Marvel show on Disney Plus.
Well, real quick, JR, two things. First off, there's only like 3 people in Jersey City ever, and so she can, I think, lay claim to it being her city. Second of all, what's she doing here? Brad, go back to the page you were on before.
Let's see. This one?
No, the one after that.
This one?
No, the one after. Nope, you're going the wrong way. Wrong way. Yeah, there's Ms. Marvel right there. How can she be in 2 places at once? Go back. Look, there's Ms. Marvel. She's stretching all over the place.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay, got you.
How can she be in 2 places at once? This doesn't make any sense. Worst Zeb Wells issue ever.
Those are all.
Hold on, we got Craig back. Craig, you with us?
Hello, does it sound better?
Much better.
Yes,
Okay.
much better. Wasn't hot and staticky. There you go. We're back. You missed JR's blowtorch and glasses. JR, can you show them to him real quick?
All right.
Let me see what we got. The blowtorch.
Because,
there you go.
Norman Osborn was working on the suit earlier, right? So here we go. All right, Peter, I'm just about
I thought
done.
with sunglasses, it was a clip of. This was the new James Cameron take on the new Terminator movie he's making.
Yeah, actually, these are old people sunglasses. I got them when I had my cataract surgery.
Oh my
So
gosh.
Don't you get them when you're dilating your eyes too?
No. I've had my eyes. I've had that done a lot. But no.
You know what Spider-Man said when he saw JR in that outfit?
Well,
Zark.
Yeah, well, at least it's not. I was about to say there's a few people here who've made a comment about the size of my head. They're getting very close to the getting on the list. It's like.
I haven't been looking at chat. I'll get chat up in a minute.
Yeah. Just because I got this nice little military style haircut,
You look great.
does not make my head look bigger. But anyway, all right. So Peter is going through the dimension, like Gumby or whatever, and right now, he's right there where this stupid ass villain who no one asked to come back is about to whack Mary Jane and Chi-Town's close buddy, Paul. Well, Spider-Man, fights the stupid ass villain, as this villain says typical stupid ass villain things. I mean, this guy's a loser. This guy's not worthy of being
Let me
a
get some
Spider-Man
pictures of
villain.
this stupid villain that you're saying about. There
Loser!
You go.
You're a loser!
Yeah, it's
What's that onomatopoeia, JR? No, Gaia.
He's Goku. Holy shit! He's Goku.
Gaia.
Someone get this guy a shirt.
so.
And some pants.
So
He's got
anyways,
pants on.
No,
Yeah.
that's how he's taking down Spider-Man with his own web shooter.
All right. Okay. So Spider-Man fights him, but what happens?
But somebody, and I can't tell who. It might have been Mary Jane, because Paul's spitting his guts out. Stabbed him with his own sword, and he falls then he collapses to the floor. Well, of course, Peter, he's glad to see Mary Jane. It's been a while or whatever, and he's been so worried. So he's about to plant one on her. But
Oh
no.
no!
As
You've
we're
been gone a
about
long time, boy.
as we're about to find out, timey-wimey sci-fi shenanigans have taken place. And then Peter sees two little snot-nosed rugrats and asks Mary Jane, who are these two products of dubious legitimate parentage? And MJ says, they're my family.
Oh!
That look on Peter's face just says it all.
Yeah.
And then
To
Maury
be
Povich comes out and
continued.
says, Peter, you aren't the daddy.
And Peter does a backflip because he's so excited. Yeah, I'm not the dad.
And neither is Paul.
Boy, I don't remember leaving a deposit with you, Mary Jane, the last time I
Oh,
saw
a
you.
deposit, JR.
At the Tiger Jackpot Bank.
Oh, gross.
Pete had
Okay.
to pay those student loan bills somehow.
He never
All right,
even
and
he
that
never
is
got his
the issue.
doctorate.
That is the issue. So
Okay. Here, let me hear grades, and then we'll get comments up on the screen real quick, and then we'll do pros and cons. JR, your grade on that one, please.
Yeah, I'll give it a C+, I guess.
C plus.
No shot.
Neil.
C minus.
Craig.
I did not prepare any grades since I didn't know it was going to be on for a few minutes ago, but I'll give it
Off the top of your head, bro.
I'll give it a C.
I'll give it a C also.
Okay, I think this is the first time in a while where we've had the grades average out to be relatively the same.
It's all about a C.
C's get degrees.
That's very true. Let's see. Comments. We've got Milo. You are on his list with that. My goodness.
Milo,
Yeah, super chat.
Here, get the list. Get the list. Let me find Milo's.
all right.
Let me find Milo.
Here's the list. Okay, Tyson, Peter Palmer, 13, Mike Murdoch, Adam Winchell, and now
Milo. You're on the list. With the JR's head looks even more massive with that new trim coming.
It's all Milo.
Milo's on the list now. You see?
I will full screen you. Milo on the list.
There you go, right under Adam Winchell.
JR, the next time you add to the list, can you do it in like the serial killer letter shipping?
Yeah, can you cut up a magazine and just put it together for us, please? Like a real creeper? Like
a highlights magazine. Yeah.
Okay, comments. Let's Michael says this is the worst run I've ever seen on Spider-Man.
No.
Beard's looking good, Neil, says Milo. You're on the positive list on
Thank you, Milo.
Love when Uncle JR does the retelling, says Winnipeg. JR's trying to be a cool dad. Is that a blowtorch? No, he's just happy to see you, Jeffrey. Mr. Comics says, I've been wondering how Ms. Marvel got into the books. A secret hideout in Jersey explains everything. JR, the tool man Taylor over here.
Got Bob the
Howdy ho, neighbor.
What was that UK what was the hit version of Bob the Builder? It was Bob the Builder.
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
My internet died. I come back. JR is welding. What did I walk into? Says Vinkman. JR is truly Johnny Storm. Quite literally, I'm blown away. Just saying. Norman's all about that branding. He's going to make the suit look like Spider-Man.
Just in case it explodes, he can frame it on Spider-Man.
Ms. Marvel showing up out of nowhere makes no sense. Well, she's been at Osborne Industries for the last couple.
But I think he's talking about like her showing up on the scene of the warehouse exploding. But in fairness, it is in Jersey City, and like I said, only like 10 people live out there, so it's not like
yet another podcast where JR talks about his medical procedures.
Well, when you're my age, you got a lot of them. I mean, that's just when you're young, you talk about sports. When you're old, you talk about your health.
Yeah. Who are these guys? Hi, I'm Brad. Nice to see you, Spider Plush. There you go.
Hi, I'm Neil.
Vinkman says JR's recap was more entertaining than the issue. I give the issue a D and JR's review an A.
Thank you, Vinkman.
Oh man, Milo dropping $10. I've got a question. Who's got the bigger head, Watu, the Watcher, or JR?
Wait, JR, can you stack names on the list?
Can you get away with insulting JR if you pay the podcast?
I was about to say, I'm beginning.
Yeah, $10 a shot. Everybody gets one at JR. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm beginning to wonder if I ought to move Milo up above Adam Winchell and Mike Murdoch. I mean, Peter Palmer, though, when he said that, when he said the cosplay girls were easier on the eyes than George and me.
Wait a minute. You remember the exact quotes of these on the list?
What the hell?
I never forget a thing. I carry a grudge for a lifetime.
It's in the vault.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Tevia gives it an F because it makes no sense. Just feels like a big F you to Spider-Man fans who love Peter and Mary Jane. Trayvon says this issue was bad. Was this Wells' take on Lost?
I don't get it.
Let's see. JR, let's see.
There was time travel in season 5.
JR is so fun. Is there a pro list? Is there a positive list?
Yeah, I got a pro list.
We got Ryan Reed giving this an F all the way, and JR is the best. JR is the governor.
Like from The Walking Dead?
No,
Yeah, from the Walking Dead. All right, JR, I want to hear pros out of you. You didn't give it an F or a D. Let me hear what's positive about this.
Well, actually, I thought John Romita Jr.'s art was a little better than it has been in some issues because everybody's nose looked normal. None of them looked like an electrical outlet this time. The story, it just was okay. There was nothing to recommend to it. I mean, I really don't have that many pros. It's not a story I'm interested in. It's not really compelling any way. We're just getting. We're just getting. And the next issue is worse. It's going to be a lot of exposition, but we're just getting some background on an event that we've been promised was going to happen, and okay, here it is. So,
Neil, pros.
I actually think I have some issues with like the actual line art, but JR's layouts are phenomenal.
Yep, I agree. I love JR's art.
I think he's I think he's slipping a bit in terms of like how he actually draws anatomy and characters, but I think overall his layouts and how to make a page flow are still on top.
Yeah, the colors top on this one.
I will say this: he makes Peter Parker looks like a man. Other than some of the others who still seem to want to draw him as a teenager. So,
yeah. Craig, what did you like about the issue?
Well, I like the FF. I mean, it's basically Spider-Man is a home invader breaking in, stealing their stuff. And
is this like opposite Home Alone?
They're just
where the home invaders
chilling.
Set traps for the kid.
Ben's trying to get the midnight snack, and the Reed and Sue are like, "What the hell are you doing?" And he just has nothing to do with it. And they come off the best here. I mean,
yeah.
I like them. I do like that. According to the back panel, Lawrence Fishburne is performing on the Moon Girl soundtrack. Apparently,
so we have a pro for the ad on the back. I love it.
It says performances by Diamond White and Lawrence Fishburne on the Moon Girl season 1 soundtrack.
Real quick, what do you guys think the Thing has in a sandwich?
Oh, let me get a picture of this so we can look. Okay, here's a good picture of the sandwich.
He better not have gotten it at Subway, otherwise he's a class.
All right, I see tomato, lettuce. That looks like shredded cheese, a little bit of onion.
Is that ham or
ham? It looks like. Yeah.
Okay. I was not planning to be on the podcast. I actually was eating Subway when Brad messaged me in this podcast.
Traitor!
Man, I'm so sorry.
This podcast comes to you from Subway.
I had a Subway a few days ago, says Ultimate Plush. Okay, JR. I guess I didn't get my pros. I do like the little fight with the FF. I'm with Craig on that. And I kind of like Peter and Norman interacting, and Peter saying, "You know what? I don't think," and Norman going, "I don't think it's ready yet. Whatever, punch it. We gotta go. We gotta go." So I think that was kind of cool.
I'll say this. Oh, sorry.
Real quick, look at Norman smiling when he says "punch it." I think there's a little bit of Norman like, I hope the little kid dies or the guy dies or something.
He's got a little bit of that dog inside him still.
Yeah, I hope he dies. Yeah.
He's like, if this doesn't work, it's gonna look awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna blow up. What were you gonna say, Neil?
I do think that Wells actually does a pretty good job with the sense of urgency that he gives.
Yeah.
It's artificial, obviously, and we know that like it doesn't really matter in the end because MJ gets together with Paul, I guess. But from Peter's perspective, like his race against time is very well portrayed in his desperation to get past the FF, even if it means fighting them. I think it's artificially contrived, but the actual sense of tone is well portrayed.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, are we ready for cons, JR? You lead this one off.
I hate the villain, and the villain's worthless. And really, it's nothing. Again, it's like we're still getting to the story. I mean, this is just kind of like, next issue is the one where we'll finally find out something. So, it's just very blah, very, very uneventful, to be honest.
To build off of that, JR, I think this issue had a weird pacing problem. Like Peter spent three pages, not even fighting Raven, just like plastic manning his way through through the Star Trek the Motion Picture backstage until he finally arrives.
Photon torpedoes.
Until he finally arrives in Hell York, and but I don't know why I needed to see 3 pages of Rabin menacingly staring at Peter. Congratulations, you didn't scare him at all, and it's just him. It's like Kindred, where he just stood there pontificating for most of his screen time.
Man, Paul took a nice shot to the gut. Look at that.
from the blade of decay, whatever that is, Rabin's weapon or Wayup's weapon.
Looks like the sludge. It looks like the sludge from Prometheus.
I'm surprised no one mentioned Ms. Marvel. Seems a bit out of place, doesn't she?
I don't care.
Little shoehorned in here.
F in the chat, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you been spoiled, Neil, about the next issue or something?
Not the next issue.
Well, I read this thing. I read this thing called Entertainment Weekly. It had a really cool article on it. You should check it out.
I'm just still confused about why she's offended that Norman Osborn is in Jersey City. I mean,
to be fair, would you want the guy who ran semi-fascist organization Hammer and is a known like superhuman terrorist on your front lawn when your main job is just
but she's already working for him.
But this is a flashback.
This is before she got the job. Have you been to Jersey though? Will Norman really make it that much worse? I'm sorry. I know nothing about Jersey except The Sopranos, so I apologize to all the Jersey listeners.
Down the hall in tunnel, baby.
Makes no sense. It's hard to believe, Milo says. It's been 2 years since Norman's been a good guy.
I'm shocked it hasn't been reverted by now.
How could you forget, Brad, about the stellar appearance of known ASM regular Ms. Marvel? Sorry about that, Radiac. I'm shocked I forgot.
All 12 pages of it.
I know.
All 12 panels of it.
Or panels, sorry.
Cons, fellas, what do you got, Craig? What didn't you like?
So, like I said, I like the Peter. I didn't like Peter's interaction with the FF, but I kind of liked it as, like you said, it's like he's a sense of urgency. But then in the following panel, he's calmly walking down into the subway. He's riding the subway. He's sitting down. He's walking into the warehouse. I mean, shouldn't he be running? I know he doesn't want to use his spider suit or anything, but like back in Black, he wasn't using his spider suit, but he was like still using his powers to tear across the city top speed.
To be fair, his identity was revealed back then.
Yeah, I know, but still, there doesn't seem to be a sense of urgency here. Like he's sitting on the subway, like, oh well, got 45 minutes.
Is it maybe
here.
because he's hiding from the Human Torch, so he didn't have to get in another big fight?
He does say, like, I mean, he can't really. He makes a point that like he can't go into the subway because he'll literally just torch everybody up. So I think Peter kind of doesn't really is kind of boxed himself, and he kind of can only walk. He can't really like run faster than the subway. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Rabin's space Rabin here, like in outer space. It looks like he should be with the giant face, where even his mustache is see through. You can see the stars. He looks like he should be demanding Kirk to bring him a starship. I don't know.
What does God need? What does Rabin need with a starship?
Excuse me. What does Wayub need with a starship?
Yeah, and then Paul stabs him like 2 pages later, and for as far as we know in this issue, that's it. The threat is averted. So I mean, it's really
from this framing, it does kind of look like Paul got him. I don't know.
In fairness, we do have kind of like third act blindness, and that's because it releases without a third act attached to it. So we don't have that added context of the next issue. But I was like, oh, well, that's it. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't care about Rabin. The more they use him, the less interesting he becomes.
Yeah. Cons about the kids. Any thoughts on the kids? That looks like Mary Jane's kid, but I guess it's not.
Yeah. Well, that's for next issue.
That's the next issue. But man, talk about a literal red herring.
Also, they changed the kid with the brown hair, the boy, to look a bit more like Paul for some reason. Like he had like the blacker hair.
Yeah.
Because in earlier issues, the kid looked suspiciously like Peter did, but now they've kind of undone it to make him look more like Paul.
They should have given him a soul patch. To make him look more like Paul.
I like this comment from Ryan. This is Ego, the Living Planet, the early years.
This is the ultimate version of Galactus.
Peter believes in transportation, Craig. So that's what Ryan says.
I have no idea what that
Owen
means.
looks like a young Marv Wolfman. Marv Wolfman,
I have no. I'm going to be honest. I have no frame of reference for that. So
I hate Tevye. Well, you're in the minority, Tevye. Everyone loves Paul. You need to get your stuff together, all right?
Listen, man. The minute they announced the Magnificent Mr. Marvel, that's a day one pre-order for me. I can't wait. He's awesome.
All right. We've got Neil on the next one. Let me get my image up here for you, Neil.
I just want to say I don't like MJ with the headband. I don't know why she's not.
Well, too bad because you're stuck with it for the next.
I know. In the next one, and spoiler for the next issue. I mean, I don't know. MJ is 4 years older.
Hey, look, it's Sarah Connor. Let's go.
Yeah. Anyway,
come with me if you want sucky comics.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere way different with that
one. Come with me if you want to live.
Oh, he really sounded like a Terminator with that cutting out.
Oh, am I cutting out?
A little.
Okay. Let me open.
Hang on. Craig and JR, can you hear it, or is it just me?
I can. I can hear both of you talking.
Okay, because I can hear Brad cutting out, but
I'm here.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
let me get this image up here, which is a good looking cover. I love the red blending into the back with all Mary Jane's hair.
It's okay.
All right. ASM, what is it number? 919. Yep. What do we got, Neil? Take me through it. By the way, how much do we pay for this book?
You paid $10.
Oh my
Plus
God.
tax.
Let's see if this is a $10 value that I paid for.
Isn't this $6.99?
$6.99. Neil's got the actual physical copy in front of him. Very good.
Yeah, $6.99.
I'm not.
Okay.
That's Craig. I said Neil.
Oh, I apologize. What, JR? You got the Greg Land cover over the John Romita Jr. cover?
Well,
really?
that's more reflective of the book's quality. It's a Greg Land tier read.
All right, Mr. Comics, you paid $20 for what?
Ooh.
What was $20, man? Okay, Neil.
Okay,
take me through this one.
In April of 2022, we got the question, "What did Peter do?" Now, in what month did we get this? It's May, right? I forgot. It's May 2023.
I think this one came out in May. Yeah. May 2023.
And now in May 2023, we finally get the answer, which was nothing. He didn't do anything. So we cut back to the end of issue 22. Also, the creative team is Wells and Carrie Andrews and John Romita Jr. Carrie Andrews, for those of you who have not read Spider Satellites, was the writer and artist of that god-awful Amazing Fantasy miniseries where Uncle Ben railed a mermaid or something. I don't remember exactly what happened.
PG-13, PG-13, PG-13. Also, Spider-Man Reign is what Carrie Andrews is also more known for.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. There's Carrie Andrews.
Forgot.
Why were they letting her a Spider-Man issue again? I don't know.
Yeah.
So we begin at the end of issue 22, where Peter is fighting ancient Mayan god Wayeb, and Peter gets slapped with the spider tracer that MJ and he were given by Paul, and they get tossed through Peter gets tossed through the portal, and Paul shoves Wayeb through the portal, cutting him in half. Elsewhere, is it Rabin or Rabin?
Whatever you want.
Cool. Whatever I want is mourning the loss of Wayeb, and goes, "Hey, wait a second! I can be a god. Fun times." That's like a Star Trek episode. MJ gets infested with the soul of Chi-Town Spidey, and she slaps the ever-loving crap out of Paul. says for her to leave her alone.
By the power of Chicago, I slap you.
Smack the glasses right off his head.
Oh man!
But Paul recovers like the Giga Chad he is, and decides
the what?
The Giga Chad he is.
What's a Giga Chad? JR and I are over 30.
That's your problem.
Okay.
And that's for me to know and for you to find out.
All right.
So a month later, MJ has a gun.
MJ's got a gun.
Everybody run. Mary Jane Watson's got a gun. And Paul has some Iron Man holograms, and he's like, hey, look at this. It's like a slot machine. Sort of like that thing you said to Peter at the end of Amazing Spider-Man number 42 about jackpots and stuff. I'm going to do some science. 3 months later, Raven gets blown out by MJ with her Sarah Connor's gun. And
Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
Damn!
It looks like a Rob Liefeld looking 90s. Oh, we got Mike in the house.
You're
hey,
right.
Mike.
You're...
I just kidding. I came back.
Oh my God!
Mike! Good God! What's up with the microphones tonight? God, fellas. All right, I'm going to unmute Mike and try it again.
Oh my God!
Heaven help us all. Chat, get ready. Mike is unmuted now. Go ahead, Mike. No, Mike's done. All right. Good God. All right. I
Okay.
think I just got shot in the ear by MJ's ear gun. Okay.
So, anyways, Sarah Connor and her boyfriend realize that Raven will never stop chasing them, and they decide to leave Hell York. MJ looks up into the sky, says, Peter, please come. This guy scares me. I'm tired. My feet hurt.
What the hold up, Tiger?
And she leaves. 3 months later, Paul and MJ just find some boxes in the middle of the woods for no reason. It's like an RPG loot drop, and
I got that reference. I get it.
Mm-hmm. See, Paul
Okay.
can make all kinds of stuff with his magic math, but he can't make
Mike,
food.
we can hear you.
is it like Harry Potter where you can't transform things into food because it breaks magic physics or something? I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Here, real quick. Milo says, my ears. Tevye says, my ears. Oh my God, Mike. Crawlspace needs standardized equipment.
I love that laughing. I love the profile picture makes it worth it. Just the Mike Murdoch. You blew my ears out, Mike. Thank you.
Jesus, I'm deaf.
So, anyways, after Paul and MJ find a rare loot drop, they hear a crashing in the cabin and decide, oh, hey, look, some more rare items to find. But instead, they find two children. Who say, do you know the Scribble Man? The Scribble Man? The Scribble Man. Do you know the Scribble Man?
Who's the Scribble Man?
I understood that
Oh.
reference.
Look at the art where it's supposed to. Oh, look at that. That's implying something, isn't
Yeah.
They look like garden gnomes.
it? Garden gnomes.
It's garden gnome.
Don't give
really
Marvel
short.
any ideas. They'll go into your garden.
They're Cabbage Patch Kid versions of MJ and Paul.
She's really short.
So 1 week later, in the middle of their tent from Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows, Owen's like, bad touch, stranger danger, as MJ's trying to get him, tell him he's safe. And outside, Paul is designing a new lab and says, hey, so those kids are kind of a drain on our resources. They're a legendary item drop, but they're taking up too much inventory space. Maybe we should eat them to survive. And
Paul licks his lips.
MJ makes a charisma roll and says, gets a nat 20, says, no way, Jose. And Paul goes, yeah, okay. Good talk. He just gives up.
I sense chemistry between these two.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just bleeding off. It's just oozing off the page, isn't it?
It's a love story for the ages.
So anyways, 1 month later, Owen, I guess his name. I thought he was the other one. So Stephanie and the other one are eating, and the other one lets MJ hug her. Cool. Character growth. 3 months later, Jesus Christ, put the page of Paul.
What
Yeah.
happened
yeah.
to these two?
Listen
Yeah,
to him.
apparently,
No wonder she lets Peter for this guy. He's freaking jacked.
He looks like Cable from the
I guess,
90s.
see, at this during the 3 months, that 3 month gap, Paul used his magic math and discovered how to find protein powder.
Yes,
And,
there we go.
Wow.
He found pre-workout in the inventory drop of the next drop point.
Way better.
They're one of the two teams left on the map. The battle royale map is shrinking though, and I think Rabin's going to find them soon. They're designing a miniaturized version of the slot mechanics for the microtransaction feature, and
yeah. Fair.
And the device falls off, and Paul and MJ share the BS movie trope of they hold hands by accident for catching something and it's staring into each other's eyes. And a montage occurs of
Hold on. Here we go, right there, boys.
Yeah.
Oh,
But nothing
Oh.
happens. But that's all we
strangers
get.
in the night.
That's all we get.
All right, we have a montage, like Neil said. Let's see the montage.
Are you
What
ready
song?
for a
Raindrops
montage?
keep falling on my head.
So the montage stops halfway in the winter when Paul says, "So I figured out that those steroids ruined my ability to get up." So
Well, so basically, his last name is actually No Johnson. So we finally find his name, or it's
that's
Ed.
great. In the summers, they peel potatoes. Sure, okay. And then they just stare at each other. Haunting chemistry, guys. Then the next panel, MJ is shooting I guess a mindless one with her Sarah Connor gun, and then I guess they use some Doctor Strange witchcraft stuff to fortify their house.
Okay.
And you know, all is well in Hell York, or the Hell countryside, whichever it is. It might be Texas. It looks like Texas. Anyways, Paul and MJ are having fun with the kids, and the other one looks out into the closet and says, "I don't like the way this one is looking at me." And it turns out, oh hey, there's Raven. He's got the Thanos blade from Avengers Endgame, and he's going to use it. And a fight scene ensues, and MJ goes, "You know what? It's time to use the Omnitrix from Ben 10. Humongous sword, go!" And then it just shoots out cotton candy. It's just the Omnitrix. Look at it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, pretty much.
Ding, 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 ding. Chicken winter dinner.
Okay. Anyways,
Winter chicken dinner.
Raven goes, "I don't know who you are," and then instead of Wanda blowing him out, he just tosses her aside. Bye. And then all of a sudden, Deus Ex Peter comes to save the day, and we cut to John Romita Jr., where the art looks way worse.
Not only that, he's just reusing the five.
No,
Yeah,
they
that's
cut
the same.
after
After pulling
the
it,
panels again from the previous issue.
after pulling a Jonathan Hickman, we cut to Peter somehow getting them back home, and MJ goes, "You know what? These kids don't have any ID. I'm going to stay with them. Bye." And Peter leaves. He doesn't put up any argument whatsoever. Okay, bye. And Peter gets confronted in an alleyway / park by the Fantastic Four. They have a little fight scene. Human Torch does not have any chill whatsoever. And eventually the fight ends when Captain America tosses him off.
Let's take a look at the fight. He punches the Torch barehanded, burns his hand. I think that was cool.
But anyways, Captain America appears out of nowhere and says, "Okay, go away, Peter. You've been excommunicated from the superhuman community until the plot demands otherwise. Goodbye." And we get a montage of, I guess, what's either the past or the future of what's to come, where Peter is now punching Paul instead of Paul punching Peter, because there was not enough discontinuity in this book to begin with. And meanwhile, back in Hell York, Rabin's corpse says, "Hey, look, I'm back, guys. The Scarlet Woman must die, to be concluded with the death of Miss Marvel at ASM 26. Oops, spoilers."
Here, real quick, you want to sum up the Black Cat story real quick, too?
Oh, yeah, they go to Idaho. Peter remakes the joke from Spider-Man Homecoming, where he runs across the golf course, but it's way less funny.
True.
And Felicia's just MJ with platinum blonde hair.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right. Neil, what's your grade on this one? Good summary. That was good.
Okay, so I give the main one a C, and I give the backup a B-.
Oh, I thought you would have not liked the backup.
Okay, I'll get into my thoughts on the backup later. And
Yeah, let's just get grades going around. Also, chat, feel free to put in what your grades are. A couple pros and cons out of you, chat. JR, this one, the main story and the backup.
Main story, gave it a D. The backup,
Forgettable, isn't it? We got Mike.
D+ for the main, about a C+ for the backup. Actually,
What was your grade on the previous issue, Mike?
Oh, that was a straight D minus.
Okay. Craig?
Main story, I'll give it a D. Backup story, B minus. It's inconsequential, but not insulting like the main story is.
I'll give the main story a C minus, and I guess the second one a C because it's very forgettable. It's an F for what it is, which is a pad to make us pay the whatever the was it $7.99, $6.99.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's totally a fluff.
Someone can do math better than I can, apparently, because I forgot how much this issue costs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right, we got Mike Murdoch with an F minus. Main grade for Mr. Comics, main grade B plus, backup A plus. Funny as hell.
Oh, okay.
T-Man says it's an F. Zeb got to be one of the AMS writers from this to shed. F to
okay.
I don't know what that means. Ryan Reed. F
I think
to
he
the
meant
extreme.
ASM, not but
Amazing Man Spider.
Yeah.
Jeffrey says I like Spidey standing up to the FF and Cap. Reminds me of the old stories when Peter did his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Lopez F. Let's see. Michael says F. Tevia, I give this book a big F because it's garage. It's a garage. It makes no sense for Mary Jane to leave Peter Parker for these random kids who shouldn't even be alive in the post-apocalyptic universe. This gets more F's than Gordon Ramsay in a kitchen, says Milo.
Hey-o.
I can't believe it got worse than Slot than Spider-Verse. I can't believe it. Tavion, this is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I hate this book so much. Death of Miss Marvel. Oh, the irony. I don't even blame Zeb Wells anymore. Stupid is as stupid does. This is the editor's fault at this point. This is garbage. Peter is not doing pinch out moves on Johnny.
I think he went to the like Mike Tyson punch out.
Punch out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're so enraged or mistyping. It's like
Body blow, fight.
Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, and Neil's doing a reenactment of the
Tevia, wait a second. How is there a gym in this post-apocalyptic universe?
Well, you see, it's called steroids.
magic math. It's magic math, Tevia.
Jay says they got steroids. Says Neil.
It's
that's
this
why
is some BS.
That's why he didn't tell MJ the steroids did damage to him.
Yes.
It's the road as told by Zeb Wells.
Is there a way to zoom in a camera? I don't know.
F minus for the whole book, says Matt. So I give this issue a big F. With the exception of Mr. Comics, I think everyone in chat really despises this book.
You think?
Yeah, no doubt. I've read worse though. I honestly have read worse.
I feel like we're dealing with a lot of recency bias because we're not dealing right now with Peter Parker being homeless and dealing with John Byrne's attraction to minors. So we're not there yet.
And let's face it, this is not quite on the level of One More Day, and it's certainly not One Moment in Time levels of bad. Don't get me wrong, this is bad, but it's not the worst you've ever seen or anything I've ever read.
Neil, let's hear your pros out of the book. What was good?
So this is going to be weird, but I honestly think Carrie Andrews should have been the main artist on this title instead of JRJR. Because JRJR isn't bad, but I think Carrie Andrews has a much tighter art style and a bit more of a cartoony one. And given that Ed McGuinness is the other guy on the rotation, I feel like they would have had a bit more artistic consistency between the two titles if they'd gone with a more cartoony art style instead of the JRJR art style.
Yeah, and even though Carrie Andrews, I mean, even we're making fun of the fact that how like they look all swole in some of these panels. The art
is decent cheesecake.
Oh yeah, but the art in the Carrie Andrews stuff is actually very dynamic kind of stuff. I mean, like this, and I think it's. I don't know if he's using a different colorist or inker than he used with the Spider-Man Rain, but it kind of really does pop on some of these panels actually, and it's very.
Let me check the inker for.
It says Carrie Andrews and Scott Hanna are the inkers. I'm assuming Carrie Andrews inked his own stuff and Scott Hanna inked the John Romita Jr.
So it looks. I think
who inked it last time. That's issue.
I think it's the colorist because Andrews did his own colors for Spider-Man Rain, and I think he also did for Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah,
but I think Marcio Menez does a great job of adding a lot of polish and shine to Andrews's interiors.
I mean, it's very. I mean, even in the stuff with like even the stuff when they're just kind of sitting around and everything like this, it's very crisp, it's very clean, it's almost it's it gets dynamic and everything.
FBI, don't move.
Yeah, I mean, granted, there are like again that swole panel, everybody's making fun of with it, like how they're all jacked and everything like this. But again, there's a lot of dynamicism to it. And yeah, and when you cut to the John Romita Jr. stuff, it's super jarring, to say the least, and it just kind of and the Romita stuff, although yeah, it can be great, it pales in comparison to this. And
I disagree strongly.
Well,
Okay, I'll say this: Romita's layouts are great, but I think Andrews has a much better final execution on the actual pages rather than the breakdowns.
mm-hmm.
I disagree.
Look, I get we like John Romita Jr. in this house, but
yeah,
I'm a bit more willing to call it where I see it.
Well, I'm calling it where I see it. I've liked his stuff for 40 years, JR? How long have we liked JR? 40 years on Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think his first one was the Hobgoblin
80s.
issues, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's been
thi-
40
And
years.
I'm not saying his old stuff is bad. I'm just saying that like since after his Hulk run with Greg Pak, I think his art has gone downhill in terms of quality.
I think actually he's brought it back up from his Avengers run, which I thought was a low point.
It's better than like his time on All-Star Batman and Avengers,
Superman. It's not it.
or Action Comics, but I still
Right.
think he's not at that same height he was back in the 80s and 90s.
Other pros, what have we not mentioned, fellas?
I will say I didn't hate MJ like having compassion for the plot device kids. That's what I'm going to call them now. I'm going to call them plot and device because that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Something to move the plot along. I appreciated MJ having compassion even in like these really bleak post-apocalyptic circumstances. It felt relatively in character for her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I feel about her adopting a maternal, like that much of a maternal role with them, but I guess there's not really much wiggle room on that.
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't go as far as say it's a pro, but I actually understand it a little bit. I mean, she's not going to leave these kids. I mean, they're kids. She's not going to leave these kids alone. Granted, it's very strongly implied that these kids are basically creations of Raven, but
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it's very much implied, but I understand the motive, and even the conversation with Peter at the end when we get back to the Romita stuff. I mean, I didn't necessarily hate that scene because I mean, you can again, if you're taking it in. If you remove all the like the regular BS surrounding how they got there, I mean, what she's saying is that she's like, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like in terms like, yeah, she spent 4 years with this guy, and also these kids and everything like this, and so this is a common trope in like in other stories, like where the person is basically isolated for like like on a desert, like either in a desert island or someplace far away from their loved one, and they supposed to form a bond with this person. And also keep in mind, MJ comes from a broken home. She's not going to be, she's not going to be a person who tries like if she's not instantly going to just go back to Peter just because
he's back, I guess, after 4 years,
right? Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing about that is like, and again from her standpoint, she's not going to want to abandon these guys like after they've been through. And Peter rightfully is like also very angry and confused and upset because it's like for him it's only been like what a month, and so it's like I don't understand this and everything.
I appreciate that Peter doesn't like throw a fit in a public area, which would have been very easy to do for like general hospital drama.
Right.
But he keeps his cool and like he respects her wishes, even though he goes back on it by the time issue 1 rolls around.
Right.
But I do kind of appreciate that Peter kind of takes it on the chin and lives with it. It's his Ben Sisko moment where he just kind of lives with it.
Yeah, but again, I wouldn't go say it so far as like a pro thing. I mean, like I'm saying, I can understand what the attempt is here.
I feel like I misspoke making it a pro, but it's more just like people. It's more of a reaction to like people going like MJ was out of character this issue. Like MJ was awful in this issue. It's like I feel like we're overreacting a little bit. I feel like it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
A pro out of me, I like the Fantastic Four fight. I specifically the fight between the two brothers, essentially brothers, between the Human Torch and Spidey. He's so ticked.
I also like that
Peter's just ticked.
I also like that Reed and Sue are like the voices of reason and trying to stop it from escalating. They're just kind of like, okay,
Now, boys, calm down, boys.
That's
Give
mom
him
and dad.
some-
Mom and
give
dad
him-
step in. Yeah.
Give him some serotonin. He'll be okay.
You can even say Captain America in this scene was basically like, because here's the guy who's the man out of time, and so he would probably better than anybody kind of understand the situation. Like, hey, look, knowing exactly that, having MJ back, like when she explains it when he heard the situation here, it's like basically like, look, I as Cap, he's like, look, I understand what Peter's going through because I've been in that similar situation before. In fact, there was a very good storyline similar where he goes to Dimension Z and everything like
They're
that.
actually talking about that in Sentinel of Liberty this past week.
As
so your
drawn by
timing is
John
perfect.
Romita Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's all time is a flat circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all connected.
Mhm.
I think you had something there with the Cap stuff. I actually think Wells writes a decent Captain America who is like able to see through kind of the fog of war and irrationality, especially after what Peter pulled in issue 23, where Peter just beats the crap out of him and runs away.
Right.
I think Wells actually does a pretty good bit with Cap, where he's like, we'll give him some space, kind of let him kind of sort things out on his own. He can come back when he's ready. I editorialized Cap saying, "Go away, Peter. You're not welcome anymore."
Yeah.
But I think that his characterization of Cap is actually pretty solid, all things considered.
I mean, look at that. He's lost everything. He's lost his girl. He lost his closest superhero confidence.
He lost his money.
confidants. What?
He lost
He's
his
lost
money.
money. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean that is
It's
and
actually a really good panel without context.
with Spider-Man. Some of the best stories are when his Peter
like that Wells
side
found
and
this
his
picture of me.
Spider-Man side collide, and he's lost something from both sides. So that's a pro for me.
I don't like that. I don't like that Zeb Wells found this picture of me and sent it to JR. JR and said, "Hey, use this as reference."
Yeah.
Do you win a contest and you can put it into a comic?
Now, here's a
Oh,
question,
no.
fellas. Is this an error or is this them messing with us? Because the last time we saw this panel, Paul was punching Peter.
I think
Mhm.
I don't.
Is this
Here's
an
the
error
thing.
or is he messing with us?
I don't think this is an error. I think this is a clue for something more going on. And it's like, so there's either two things going on.
Yeah.
There is some reality warping hanky-panky, or there's
Yeah.
some kind of double timeline things going on. Because remember, we're dealing with a story where basically they can use the power of mathematics and symbols to basically rewrite reality as we know it. I mean, like basically create stuff. So I'm wondering if this was kind of like if Wells is like, haha, see, there's a little clue that maybe something might actually be wrong with this picture. Because we saw like in ASM 7, Paul punching Peter, and in this one it's Peter punching Paul. And again, the colors are different because in terms of what Peter was wearing the red hoodie.
Peter is like unshaven in issue 7. I just kind of noticed that.
Yeah, and so it's like, something's going on here that it's showing that I'm kind of wondering if whether or not there's something being altered here.
You know what?
Like
I think you're
something-
honest. I think you're honest.
Yeah, that's something because again, if we go back in early in the story, Paul did mention something about how when they're using this quantum symbology stuff that they were able to kind of,
He found patterns. He found patterns in the symbology. That's
right. And again, if anyone's read the Mary Jane Jackpot mini, this thing is when she gets that 777, one of the powers is that she can just rewrite reality in a localized area. So I'm wondering, not that saying she did that, but I'm wondering if that's kind of what's hinting is going on here, that something happened one way, but something is being made to look like it happened another way for somebody.
I think it'd be hilarious, like if MJ pulled out the Omnitrix and goes, "All right, big numbers, baby, big numbers," and she gets 3 skulls and all the kids just explode.
Oh yeah.
If she said big bucks, no whammies, I'd give the book an A.
No
Right,
whammies.
Big numbers, baby, big numbers.
right.
Get a home
Yeah,
run. Let's go Mets.
So somebody's using magic. So this is what I'm calling them. Somebody's using what jokingly called the magic math to kind of rewrite something.
The magic math. I think I tried to take that.
I think
It is because literally is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
it's just Scarlet Witch mechanics.
yeah, exactly.
Probability manipulation.
JR, thoughts before we move on?
Something that among many things that bothers me is I just really have no context for understanding a lot of things. I mean, what is this world? I mean, the two kids are there, but nobody else is. I mean, is it like, and why was Paul? I mean, I don't even know what happened with this world. What is it?
Okay, so from what I can gather, it's like an alternate future, and I have a couple of answers. So the first, I think that the kids are like math magic that that Raven used when he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a god now." I think that he did some evil magic stuff, and the kids are like constructs he made.
Well, you could get a clue of that because he's literally drawing like what look like two little chibi heads in the dirt. Like he's scribbling it there. So there's two of those little things that he like.
He draws the Among Us. He draws the Among Us characters.
Bundle things. And the other thing is too is there's a little bit more stuff about Paul basically. Well, when he's in the hospital, when the doctor comes out to talk to MJ, he's like, "Yeah, well, we can't really find any kind of his birth records or anything like this." So his story about him being taken to this place doesn't really match up because so they're trying to like so they'll be like, oh, maybe Paul isn't actually from the 616. Maybe he's a construct too or something. Maybe that's who knows this other.
Also,
stuff.
I'm pretty sure Paul was able to kind of survive because I think he mentioned he was part of Raven's like original math magic team.
Right.
So
but
I
he
think
doesn't.
He knows kind of the basics to evade Raven, maybe.
Right, but there's also stuff in there with the doctor talking about like we can't find any kind of records of his medical records at all. So
new mystery box, baby.
More. So yeah, they're piling the mystery box on there. All right. I guess we're gonna get. I guess it sounds like we're already getting the cons already. So, but yeah.
So on the the Sarah Connor page at the top, when Wahab is running away, like I don't know, like Dr. Claw or something, saying next time Scarlet Woman. He says, "I will return when you accept your bindings." And then a few pages later, they find the kids, and all of a sudden they have to take care of these kids. Are the kids the bindings?
And then Raven comes back.
That he's making them accept?
Yes, that is the implicate. Yeah. That is kind of the subtext here. What's going on here? Yeah, that's yeah.
And also,
anything else, Craig? What were you else going to say?
Just another thing. When Mike and Neil were talking a few minutes ago, it just occurred to me now, and it's been years since I saw the movie. But has anyone seen the movie Castaway with Tom Hanks?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
I all of a sudden I was like, wow, okay, so this is kind of a parallel where Tom Hanks is trapped in this island. He has to get back to the woman he loves, and then when he finally does, spoiler alert, she's already moved on, gotten married, and had a kid. But Tom Hanks doesn't want to like break up this relationship. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if Zeb Wells watched this movie and then maybe got some inspiration for what he wanted to do with this giant plot. I don't know. It's not one for one, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's lots of stories that play with this idea. There was even one called what was it? One True Love. There's some really bad Lifetime movies where they dealt with a similar subject and everything like this. There's this goes back to like there's actually a poem written in like the 18th century. I guess I forgot who the poem was, but it's a similar thing of a guy who gets shipwrecked out at sea, comes back to find that the woman he loves is actually married his best friend and moved on, and he doesn't get thing. There's like all kinds of. This is a common thread here throughout. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, so. There are ways you can handle it. I mean, it's been done before, and it's just this is Wells taking on a similar idea. I wouldn't be surprised if he got some of those if it's a similar setup thing, like if he got inspiration from some of this stuff. Yeah.
But it just came to me all of a sudden that I was like, there's some parallels between that movie and this story, or this Revelation mission. Yeah.
If you go, let's look at the preview for this coming week's issue of Amazing Spider-Man, which we'll review probably in a few weeks. I put the preview up on the front page of the Crawlspace. You can click on Spider Previews. Here are the pages inside. So there, which one will fall? I wonder which one it will be. My bet is the one right by his head. Jeez. Anyway, here is the first page.
It's big numbers.
Yeah.
The clue is where Spider-Man's head is actually positioned, folks. If you notice that.
Is this Kamala over here? Who is this?
Yeah, that's supposed to be Kamala.
Well, it's supposed to be.
She says Kamala.
Nothing like her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we got your our savior over here. Norman Osborn flies in.
My man.
The hero.
Yeah.
Pepsi Man. Let's go.
Glad to hear that, Norman. Because I'm here too. Sorry, that was a terrible entrance. More
Yeah,
like a terrible
literally-
exit, young lady.
Which is hilarious because it's like, yeah, you're here too. Yeah, literally, your whole run. That's
And Kamala says, "Can we pretend I said something cool?" Ms.
And
Marvel.
the rest.
Peter
Yeah.
is really shocked. Ms. Marvel's in his book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, and then
So
that's
is it
all
in
the
the reader?
previews I have. However,
Yeah.
and if you've been following this online, this thing got leaked. Google error. Hold on. This thing got leaked big time. And
Oh yes.
spoilers, if you have avoided the internet,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
I
because
wish I could be you.
this was spoiled 2 weeks early,
Yeah.
which is just insane. I'm trying to load, do a little behind the scenes stuff. It got spoiled 2 weeks early. Marvel had to do a little bit of catch up to get out in front of this. Or there's a theory that Marvel released it themselves to get all this publicity. There's some theory out there that happened.
Oh,
So
Was it,
here-
was it a flop or a psyop? Your choice, baby.
JR, you
Right,
believe
yeah.
Marvel was behind all of it, even the leaks?
Oh yeah, I think Marvel's desperate for attention. I mean, everything everything Marvel does anymore just reeks of desperation.
Right.
Disney's already scared about the movie, that the movie's going to be a flop. And
What
plus
movie?
The
the
Marvels.
Marvels.
The Marvels.
You know.
The Marvels. Okay.
I mean, and they're trying to Marvel's trying to gin up interest for the miniseries they're no doubt going to have about her later on or whatever. Just, it's all a, no, I don't believe anything about this was accidental.
Okay. Let's see here. We've got. I'm gonna read you the press release I got from Marvel, and I haven't even put it up on the front page. I've been busy. So, stop screen, present, share screen. What tab we doing? I think let's tab that tab. All right. Here is the press release Marvel sent me. The Marvel Universe mourns one of its biggest stars following the
Right.
shocking events of
Right.
ASM 26. Yeah.
Skill issue.
What
Skill issue. Kamala dies. Skill issue.
does that mean? Okay. So, The
She should-
Fallen
she should-
Friend, The Death of Ms. Marvel is the one shot coming out. Do you think Peter knows her that much to be that sad?
Well,
don't know.
I want to talk about this real quick. This
I'm
thing-
assuming
Go ahead.
it's like inaction that he feels guilty, not that he knew her that well.
So I want to point out this cover is awful. For one,
Why?
half the characters don't belong here. Like the Thing and Captain America, I think barely know her. Wolverine tolerates her when they cross over, and then Iron Man and Captain Marvel are looking off to the side like they're bored. Oh, I want the funeral to be over. You got any shawarma?
Right.
But like, there's characters here who could have actually belonged in here, like Sam Nova or Miles or or even Cyclops, because he was when he was Cyclops, they founded the Champions together. Like there was so many other characters that would have fit better into that cover, but because they want to get the big bucks, they put all of the A-listers on there who barely knew her.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, everything about this is like, I mean, now Grant, I mean, you can totally tell what Marvel was trying to do here. It's like they wanted to, it's like, okay, so we want to gin up the attention with the Marvel, but the way they can think of it is, okay, we got to kill off Kamala Khan. The problem is she didn't have her own book, but we'll do it as a surprise. So we'll sneak her into Amazing Spider-Man because that's our best-selling title, but we won't put her, even though they say in the press release that she was a pivotal character. No, she wasn't, because again, part of the surprise was she's going to be in the background, emphasis on background, and then she's going to be sprinkled here or there, and then so when her death finally happens, everybody can get to see it, and then of course we'll go ahead and have the big miniseries, then bring her back, and then we'll bring her back in another miniseries, and then and there's also going to be synergy because we're going to make her a mutant just like she is in the MCU, and then everyone will see the Marvels, and
What are your thoughts on the tagline? This is the biggest shocking death since Gwen Stacy 50 years ago. She really has no connection to Spider-Man, honestly.
No. Well, I mean,
that's part of the, and again, that's part of the thing, because they were because with the way the nature of the story works, again, because of the way it's like all about how Peter and Mary Jane split apart again. and all the forceful stuff that they put in, like like the little deliberate roadblocks we put in.
Yeah.
This was all. It was I think they deliberate. I mean, this was a deliberate bait and switch to try to get people to think, oh, that Mary Jane was going to die, and some of us did fall for it. And I admit it, I was kind of like leaning toward that thing, and then because again, part of the surprise was, oh, we're going to kill off Kamala Khan. Nobody will expect that. Of course, granted, this has opened up a whole other big can of worms about the way people have been reacting towards it. And again, we all know this is going to be undone. It's not going to be so.
This
It's like it was only shocking in the sense that they tried to pull the bait and switch on it. And the only thing that spoiled it is because, again, you could argue maybe this was put intentionally, but there's also some folks that were coming out and says, no, this wasn't. This was some guy who was genuinely upset what Marvel was doing, and so he deliberately spoiled this 2 weeks ahead of time. And now this is Marvel basically doing damage control all this. And again, granted, they had the press release all prepared ahead of time for because again, because there was something came out, I guess, was Tom Brevoort was actually talking, I think, to Polygon about this and saying that no, we had to get ahead of this because this thing got leaked, and we had this thing ready to go. We wanted to release this thing on the day the issue came out, but this leak kind of forced our hand.
Which would have spoiled it for everyone that can't get to the comic shop. It would have got released like at noon or maybe 11 a.m.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you would have seen it in your feed, and you would have been spoiled by your book. Now, I cannot stand that Marvel does that. I mean, they are the total opposite of what movies want. The director, have you seen these pictures? Or actually nowadays, you see viral videos of the cast members saying, don't spoil it. Let people go to the theater. Let them enjoy the book or the movie, etc. What does Marvel do? Let's get it out there so somebody, please, anybody, will buy a ticket or buy a book. I don't. It's awful. I don't understand why they do that. Does Entertainment Weekly must pay Marvel money for an exclusive like this? Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
I don't think EW paid Marvel. I think what happened is, I honestly think that the leaks blew up further than 4chan where they were supposed to land, and then Marvel realized, oh god, it leaked on the Twitter. We need to kind of put a cap on this, and they they kind of spun the jackpot wheel and went, oh hey, look, there's EW. They haven't done anything for us in a while. Hey, you guys want to run an article for us?
Well, the thing is too, is because normally when some of this stuff like these leaks kind of get spoiled, it's usually a week before the issue actually shows on the stand.
This was
because
2 weeks.
That's because normally what happens is usually it just comes from a retailer or something. This was 2 weeks out, so which means this. So the implication is somebody was inside the company, like the publishing house itself. So this was
the call is coming from inside the house.
Yes, exactly.
Radiac, do we have a solicit for her new book in August?
So we kind of do. It's hinting at like, oh, a rebirth. But what ended up happening, this isn't a spoiler because it's publicly available and everyone has seen it. R.B. Silva, the artist who's done a bunch of books that we've read, he did a couple issues of ASM, Captain America: Symbol of Truth, Powers of 10. He posted on his Instagram a page of Kamala talking to Cyclops in progress. So we know by accident that Kamala's coming back.
Of course, what people are worried about when she comes back as a mutant, is she going to have her new elastic? Is she going to keep her elastic powers, or is she going to have her or those?
She can't big it. I'm dropping the book.
Yeah. If you're going to have those god-awful...
I could not finish Ms. Marvel, the series, but it's not meant for... I mean, maybe I'm not the audience. I'm not a teenage girl.
It's fine.
Yeah,
fine.
But anyway, let's do final thoughts. Craig, final thoughts.
Talk about the backup?
There was a backup?
Yeah.
The Black Cat deal? Yeah, it's forgettable, Neil. It's a cash grab.
Yeah.
If you want to, but go ahead, real quick.
I think it's fine. Like I said, it mostly just rips jokes from Yost's Scarlet Spider run and the golf
computer comic
and the golf course scene from Spider-Man: Homecoming.
And those are all, like Craig said, they're all ripping from Peter David's ASM 267, where he gets
Mhm.
chases a crook into the suburbs. The
See,
commuter cometh.
and
Yeah.
I'm almost convinced that Rainbow Riddle. I mean, this sounds too conspiratorial. I'm wondering if this was originally written as a Peter and MJ story, but then because of current timeline, because he's currently with the Black Cats, like all you have to do is like, oh, the colors can change their hair color, and then have a little word balloon changes, and then it's a Black Cat story. Aha, because but that's
Do we
the
even
thing.
know
Yeah,
whose wedding this is? It just says
No.
Yeah.
Felicia's.
right.
It
Because
doesn't
who
really
does
matter.
Felicia who would Felicia know? And where was it?
Her
In,
ex.
yeah.
Iron Cat marrying somebody. That's all you need to know.
Right. Yeah.
Milo, thank you for the super chat. He wants Craig and more shows, please. Look at that.
Milo is now
Okay.
on my pro list. I don't have a piece of paper nearby, but
You,
it's
you
going
get
on
one
it.
of each.
Wait a minute. So who's? Let me see. Let me look at the super chats tonight. Milo dropped $10 to insult JR. He's put up $1.99 to ask for more Craig.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
love it. I
Or
love it.
it costs less.
Thank you for the super chats tonight, Milo. You were our only one.
Mhm.
We got a lot of people in chat too, but thank you guys thank you, Milo. Not guys,
Yeah,
not plural, just one for
Mhm.
the super chat tonight.
I did-
Craig, final thoughts. What do you got, sir?
I did chuckle when you were showing the press release there earlier, and Mark was saying in the similar to the great deaths of Captain America and Doctor Strange. And I'm like, wait, these people have both come back to
Those
life.
people are back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, even in the press release, they're basically saying, "Yeah, don't worry, this isn't permanent."
They get better.
Mhm.
They die. Yep.
Final thoughts. Thanks for having me on last minute.
Oh,
I
man.
will need to check my Facebook updates more regularly. This was fun.
Yeah. Mike, final thoughts.
I'm
I
glad
do-
that. Sorry,
Oh,
I'm glad
go ahead,
that we
Milo.
got-
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm glad that we got an answer to what did Peter do and what happened with Peter and Mary Jane. It's just not a good one, but I am glad that we did finally get an answer.
What did he do? Can you sum it up in a sentence, Craig? What did he do?
He nuked Pennsylvania.
He was too late. He was too late to rescue Mary Jane from falling in
He
love.
apparently didn't have time enough to explain anything to his friends, but he certainly had plenty of time to explain everything to Norman freaking Osborn, who apparently is like, "Hey, Pete, here's our big plan. I'm going to build you a suit that Tony Stark could have easily built in a cave with a box of scraps in less than a week. It's going to take us a month to do this, our version, but we can do that." So,
There was time enough. There was time enough at last.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
there's no time.
Uh,
It's
Mike-
literally the Parks and Rec meme. I need to
Yeah,
put
I
up
know.
flyers for my bird. Let me find the farm. There's no time. He can fly.
Burt Macklin
Oh
could have
my
solved this
gosh.
issue and no problem.
mhm.
It's a
Mike,
Columbo
final
mystery.
thoughts, sir.
Okay, so even though I don't think this was as bad as One More Day or One Minute Time, it does have there is a common theme in those stories. It's mostly we are literally like, how many issues does it take to justify breaking up Peter and Mary Jane? If it's taking this much effort and convolution and magic bull crap to try to separate these two again, maybe Marvel should not try to do it. Just saying, because this is the third. This is not one of those cases where you're thinking, "Oh, third time's a charm," I guess. But no.
Well, here's the deal. They've been trying to break them up since the 90s.
Mm-hmm,
Honestly, with the John
Yeah.
Byrne and the Howard Mackey.
yeah.
They've
Well,
been
the clone
trying to
saga
break
before that. The
Clone
clone
Saga
saga.
itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter smacked her
yeah,
across the room.
with the smack. So we're going on 30 years of trying to break them up. Granted, with soap operas, the lovers break up and they come back. The lovers break up and they come back. The lovers break up and come back. So it just seems like an old, like I'm going on 30 years of this.
Well, yeah, and
Congrats, you
maddening
figured
thing
it
about-
out.
Yeah, but the maddening thing about this is, like, one more time, it's like it's another flashback story. So again, it's like, oh, we already know what the outcome was, and then it's like, oh, and then you're trying to write, and then Wells is trying to write. It's like, oh, I got to make the pieces fit to go from point A to point B here, and it's just like you can see how the ship was being written here, and it's just kind of like, this is really it's tiresome kind of stuff, and it's
It
just
is.
like,
It's
yeah,
it seems like we need a new story than let's break them up and get them back together. Let's break them up and get them back together. Let's keep them together and see what happens.
Well, and this is why I
Or-
thought maybe they would have. I mean, granted, we would have been upset if they killed Mary Jane off, but at least it would have made sense with the context of the story instead of like, oh, let's. But yeah, we'll get that, and I'm sure we'll get that another whole
But
round
having
stuff.
Peter and Mary Jane together, that's the end of their story. Everyone knows
I know,
that
yeah, right?
they get together. There's no more conflict. There's no story potential.
No more conflict. There's no more
Yeah, which is-
responsibility.
Now
Yeah.
Miles Morales can take over as the one true Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Uh,
because when you're married, there's no conflict.
Right, right.
Amen,
JR
JR.
says he like clenches his jaw in anger.
Yeah.
Neil, final thoughts.
Okay. It wasn't great. I didn't enjoy it. I don't think it was worth getting as mad as people have gotten over this run. Once again, this was just aggressively not good rather than outright bad. I'm a little more upset, guys, that Zeb Wells did my man Quetzalcoatl dirty as like a mini boss instead of the final boss of the encounter.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I still don't care about Raven. Or
Well,
Raven.
no one does.
I know.
No one
I
does.
He's a
should
stupid
though.
Villain. He's a stupid villain.
You should care for the villain trying to break
Yeah.
up the couple.
Yeah.
But Mr. Comic says the longer
he
I'm
won.
married, the more I think like JR. That's true. JR, final thoughts, sir.
You know, the thing is, once this is over, I'm not looking forward to what's next. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you know, real because everything has been leading up to this, you know, and then once this is over, it's like, well, what's, you know, just what's going to happen next? I mean, I don't really have any. This is almost, you know, kind of one of those where it's like I just don't care where they're going. I don't see any reason to. I mean, if I wasn't just, you know, an obsessive collector like all the rest of us here,
I'm not.
you know, you know, there's you know, this is actually one of the least interesting periods in Spider-Man where it's like I don't care. You know, I mean, if you're not going, I don't care what happens next. I really don't.
What was the cliffhanger? It was the bad guy's coming back.
You
Like,
know,
eh,
and
it,
he's
it-
not-
it- it isn't a cliffhanger that makes me want to read the next book, mainly because I've been spoiled
Mhm.
2 weeks early on the book. That
Well,
that
we
doesn't
don't
help.
know, you know, again, this guy, you know, this is just like a cipher, a straw man. He just talks gibberish, you know, I mean, you know,
You
whatever.
can't
what is
relate to him. You can't
what-
relate to him at all.
what does the guy want? I mean, it's like,
Now, what does he want?
yeah, I mean, it's like
He wants to be a god. What does God need? What does God need with a guy from Queens?
So
He
once you're
wants,
God,
he wants the epic loot drop.
so once
Oh,
you're God, what does that mean? I mean, you hang out with Thor or something? I mean, I don't, you know, I don't know what, you know, you get a bunch of old Jewish scholars to write about you or something. I don't know, you know, it's, I mean, what's he, you know, it's like, you know, he doesn't have a goal that
Mhm.
we can understand,
Oh,
you
he has a
know.
goal. He has an editorial goal of to break the lovers up.
you
Yeah.
know, and so
That makes
no.
the editorial the true villain, doesn't it?
Work
Mhm.
backwards. Zeb, work backwards. It's better that way.
Yeah,
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
Coming up in a few minutes
Mhm.
on our Patreon, we are going to review a record number of shows. Let's take a look at this mess. My God, 24 books. We've got.
I hate this.
You hate this. We've got Carnage, 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 Carnage.
Oh, geez.
Bunch of
agree.
Carnage. We got Venom, 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 Venom in the future, 2099 Venom. We got dinosaurs that have Spider-Man suits. We got
Jesus
Dan
Christ.
Slott. We got Venom, Venom, more Venom, Venom in
Venom
the
in the
past,
past,
Venom in the
yeah.
future.
God, I really
Uh,
hope Tyler's on this show. I'm not reading this shit.
No, Tyler's back. We have Hallows Eve, Janine,
Okay.
Ben Riley's girlfriend, has a miniseries.
Everyone's
Joe
favorite
Fix-
90s clone saga character.
Joe Fixit number 5 wraps up, which is actually a pretty good book. We have Silk, which is
Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go.
We got the Jackpot Mary Jane and the Black Cat mini wrapping up. We have Venom, more Venom, as if we needed more Venom. He's over in Moon Knight. And we've got more clones. We got Gwen Stacy clones. One's a Gwen Stacy Rhino clone. And then more Venom, Venom, Venom with
Adrenaline, momentum, venom.
Venom, Venom. And this is Liz Allen as Misery, by the way, up here at the top, if you don't
Thanks,
know.
I hate it.
So
Yeah, I guess
If
better
you
than
wanna-
Kathy Bates.
if you want to see us review 24 books,
Well, Tyler.
sign up on patreon.com/crawlspace and support the site, and you get a monthly video and also audio version. of this show. So, everybody, thank you for watching. George will not like those issues. That's why George is not on the show. Seeing JR's reaction is priceless. JR will not be on that show. He has an invite, but he says hell to the no. Keep your Star Trek quotes out of this, Douglas. What did I say? Star Trekky. What was Star Trekky?
What does God need with Starship?
Oh,
You've said that about 3 or 4 times, I think.
I have. Star Trek.
It's
5,
Brad's
baby.
favorite Star Trek movie.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is not.
Imagine saying, "Oh yeah, I like Star Trek V, The Final Frontier."
You're going to need a seatbelt in the theater for that one. All right,
It's
we'll
great.
be back soon in just a few minutes on Patreon. Thanks, everybody.
Hey,